The picture begins with Jerry Mitchell, a high school student, being hauled out of bed by his younger sister, Bray. At the time, he had overslept. In a hurry, Jerry grabbed his favorite shirt from the washer, even putting it in the microwave because it was still moist. Once clothed, he and Bray drove to school in their mother's car. On the way, Jerry stopped by to pick up his new girlfriend Franny's parents. He became preoccupied while driving and speaking. He noticed Karen Clark, a lovely girl in the car next to them, and couldn't take his gaze away. So much so that he ran a red light and nearly collided with another vehicle. Fortunately, everyone was safe, and while Franny was annoyed that her boyfriend was looking at another lady, she was secretly impressed by Jerry's rapid reflexes on the road. Buddy Revell, the new child at school, was getting a lot of attention. He had a reputation as a big-time troublemaker with wild fighting abilities. Nobody had ever beaten him in a fight, and everyone was scared of him. Jerry and Bray couldn't help but look out the window when they heard Buddy had arrived. The entire school fell silent when they saw him because, well, he was quite terrifying. Later, Jerry was assisting his instructor, Mr. Rice, with the school store. He was proud to tell Mr. Rice that they had made a cool $470 in just a week, knowing that Mr. Rice would be delighted. But then things became a little difficult for Jerry. Karen, the girl he had a crush on, stopped by to buy some items. Jerry wanted to chat her up a little, but when he went to hand her change, the cash drawer jammed. Yikes, the poor guy was embarrassed, and Karen simply took off without her change. As school progressed, Jerry ran across his best friend Vincent Costello. Vincent, the high-ranking editor of the school magazine, had a crazy idea. He asked Jerry to help him interview Buddy and learn more about his crazy history. However, before that could happen, one of their professors, Miss Mary, put Jerry on the spot. She requested him to officially welcome Buddy to the school. Jerry panicked out and raced to the restroom to relax for a few minutes. Jerry's day quickly became increasingly chaotic. Guess who he ran into while attempting to cool down in the restroom? Yes, Buddy. Jerry chose to introduce himself. He also indicated that he wanted to write a tale about Buddy's past, but when Jerry tried to be pleasant by patting Buddy on the arm, things quickly went wrong. Buddy didn't like this. He grabbed Jerry, pushed him up against a mirror, and made it obvious that he did not want to do an interview. Then he issued a challenge to fight at 3:00 p.m. in the parking lot. Buddy warned Jerry that if he even considered alerting a teacher or fleeing, he would make it worse for himself. Jerry was terrified when he heard this. He stumbled back into class, looking disturbed up. Vincent and Franny sensed something was off. When they inquired, Jerry revealed the entire fight challenge. To avoid a confrontation, Jerry located Buddy at his locker and attempted to back out. He promised Buddy he would never write about him or come near him again, but Buddy refused. He still wanted the 3:00 p.m. showdown. Soon after, word spread like wildfire. All the students in the hallways were talking about how Buddy, the new kid, had challenged Jerry to a fight on his first day. Vincent wanted to protect Jerry from Buddy after hearing the news, so he decided to hide a little knife in Buddy's locker, thinking the school would discover it and expel Buddy out. However, Jerry believed it was a horrible idea. He was scared that if Buddy found out, he would get even furious. So they'd attempted to remove the knife, but unfortunately, Buddy's locker was jammed and the bell sounded. They had to go quickly so that no one would see them. Jerry became so terrified that he attempted to abandon school. When he jumped into his automobile, he was taken by surprise. The same knife was embedded in his steering wheel, along with a letter. The note made it plain that Buddy was aware of what they had done. To make matters worse, Jerry's automobile would not start because Buddy had tampered with the engine. Jerry, feeling imprisoned, sought to flee on foot, but as he did, the school security guard, Duke Herman, spotted him. Jerry tried to create an excuse, claiming that he needed a repair for his automobile, but Duke didn't buy it and wanted to return him to his teacher. Jerry, in full panic mode, bolted with Duke following close behind. When Duke captured Jerry, he discovered a knife in his pocket. Jerry attempted to explain, presenting a note from Buddy as proof that the knife was not his, but Duke was unconvinced. He discarded the note and led Jerry straight to Wojciech Stalinsky, the school's discipline chief. In Wojciech's office, Duke gave over the knife, claiming Jerry had broken the rules. Jerry attempted to explain that the knife was Vincent's idea to get Buddy in trouble, but things took a turn when Buddy left a note in Jerry's car challenging him to a fight at 3:00 p.m. Hearing that, Wojciech simply shook his head, refusing to believe anything Jerry said. When Jerry left the workplace, he ran into his friend Mark Boges. Mark is a tall man, and he ordered Jerry to hang on for 3 minutes during the fight with Buddy since he and his friends had bet on it. Jerry was pretty furious about this. He was about to lash out at Mark when Vincent intervened, soothing Jerry and begging him to simply walk away. On their way to their next class, Jerry and Vincent discussed a plan. He wanted Craig, the hardest guy at school, on his side. He needed Vincent to distract everyone by striking a fake bell. This would allow Jerry to meet Craig on the field without Buddy noticing. Vincent executed the strategy wonderfully. He crept out, rang the doorbell, and then joined Jerry in the field to find Craig. Jerry soon tracked down Craig and requested his assistance in scaring Buddy away. Craig's only requirement was a large payment of $450. That was a lot of money, and Jerry was broke. Jerry, desperate to escape his argument with Buddy, took a huge risk. He broke into the school shop and took some money from the register. Jerry settled Craig's debt with the stolen funds. Just as everything looked to be going as planned, Voight stated that the earlier bell was a forgery and that everyone needed to return to class. When Jerry returned to class, Mr. Rice informed everyone that money had been taken from the school store. Mr. Rice was furious and threatened to evict whoever did it. When Jerry heard this, he tried to remain calm and appear to be on Rice's side. Jerry and Vincent observed Craig conversing with Buddy in the warehouse during lunchtime. They hoped Craig would warn Buddy off, but Buddy became enraged, injured Craig's hand, and beat him severely. Jerry was horrified to see the school tough guy get knocked down by Buddy. He dashed to the restroom to breathe and reflect. Soon after, Vincent and Bray discovered him. They informed Jerry that Craig returned the money since he did not keep his half of the bargain. Jerry was overwhelmed and didn't want the money. This irritated Vincent, who simply dumped the money at Jerry's feet before stomping off. Bray then devised a scheme in which Jerry would act out in class, get in trouble, and possibly be sent home early. This manner, he might evade Buddy's combat challenge. Jerry believed that may work, so he returned to class, eager to stir things up. When class began, Miss Farmer asked students to discuss the lesson they had just read. Jerry had a plan to get in trouble and possibly be sent home early, so he boldly approached and began explaining the lesson while blowing on a cigarette. He even tried flirting with Miss Farmer, but the shock of what he had just done caused him to swoon. Later, Jerry awoke in the school's maintenance room. He questioned Nurse Palmer if he was in trouble for his shenanigans. Surprisingly, he received no punishment. Instead, Miss Farmer complimented him on a good job teaching the subject and even gave him her phone number, inviting him over that night. Jerry was torn between happiness in impressing his teacher and disappointment that his strategy to avoid Buddy's challenge had failed. Jerry returned to class, feeling slightly better. On the way, he encountered Karen, who had a crush on him. She invited him to her birthday celebration the following night, which Jerry gladly accepted. But then Franny approached him, upset because she had heard about Jerry's provocative behavior with Miss Farmer. She wanted Jerry to remember she was looking at him, so she took him into the school shop for a discussion. Jerry ultimately admitted to Franny that despite their relationship, he wasn't truly into her. He explained that she was just someone he hung out with when he felt lonely. Unfortunately, this broke Franny's heart, and she exited the room distraught. Mr. Rice and Detective Mulvihill arrived in the school shop shortly after, complicating matters further. They were investigating the missing money matter. Mulvihill looked at Jerry, as if he suspected the robber was a student whom Mr. Rice had trusted with the shop. Jerry became alarmed when he realized the investigator was watching him and attempted to flee. Later, during a math test, Buddy, who sat next to Jerry, whispered to him for answers. Jerry didn't want any more issues with Buddy, so he reluctantly shared. However, the test watcher, Mr. Mevitt, caught their sly exchange and sent them both to Mr. O'Rourke's office. Jerry, feeling cornered by Buddy, chose to accept the blame for cheating. He claimed to have duplicated Buddy, but O'Rourke checked Buddy with a math question, and Buddy answered correctly. Jerry noticed Buddy was playing a game that made him appear bad at school. After Buddy went, O'Rourke had a stern conversation with Jerry. He expressed disappointment in him, citing rumors about the stolen money and knife. Jerry was unable to defend himself at the moment because he had previously acknowledged to cheating. O'Rourke announced that he would be keeping a tight eye on Jerry from now on. Outside the room, Jerry attempted to settle things with Buddy. He even offered money to cancel their planned fight. Buddy took the money but labeled Jerry a scaredy cat. Jerry, feeling down, walked up to the school roof to contemplate. After some time, he psyched himself up for Buddy. Jerry gathered his belongings and exited the classroom, ignoring Mr. Medved's instruction. Soon after, he threw his books in his locker and went to the parking lot, where a large crowd and Buddy waited. O'Rourke attempted to stop the fight by grasping Buddy's arm. Buddy was not having it. He punched O'Rourke and knocked him unconscious. Jerry was terrified after witnessing Buddy rough up a teacher. But when Buddy pushed Franny, Jerry mustered his bravery and stood up to him. Unfortunately, Buddy simply threw him onto a car. Just then, Voight and Duke, the security guard, arrived to break up the fight. Duke even tried to fight Buddy, but Buddy knocked him out with a single strike. When Voight saw this, he became afraid and fled. But Jerry wasn't finished. He got back up and punched Buddy in the nose, resulting in blood. However, Buddy reacted by knocking Jerry down again. As Buddy was about to use his brass knuckles on Jerry, Vincent swooped in and smacked them out of Buddy's grasp. Bray quickly grabbed Buddy's dropped gun and delivered it to Jerry. After Buddy knocked Vincent down, Jerry lunged at him again with the brass knuckles, and guess what? Jerry ultimately gained the upper hand and defeated Buddy. Franny and the other kids were extremely amazed by Jerry's bravery. Detective Mulvihill arrived shortly after the altercation to arrest Buddy, but the two had already split. Mulvihill then turned to Jerry on the school shop money theft. Just when things appeared to be going badly for Jerry, O'Rourke stepped in and asked the detective to be patient with him after such a difficult day. Jerry's friends ended up showering him with high fives and praise. They even pitched in to assist and repay the money he took from the shop. Buddy unexpectedly returned the money Jerry had given him earlier. Buddy even made a small smile at Jerry. Karen then reminded Jerry about her party that night, implying she was expecting a romantic confession from him. While Jerry was obviously overjoyed, it wounded Franny, who was watching close. Miss Farmer also appeared to have a soft place for Jerry, which surprised everyone. But in the end, Jerry was only interested in Karen. The movie concludes, the moral of the story is that if you're going to steal money to pay off a bully, be sure you microwave your damp shirt first so you look good in a fight.